So today I'll be talking on a very interesting point, and thank you, Prof. Joki, for inviting me. And this has been my first time to attend this event. And thank you, cameraman. Yes, no, it's not cameraman. It is. You see, my vocabularies are majorly in medicine and pharmacy. So, as you listen to my talk, you can write my name there at Dr. Ermias MT, and you can subscribe, be it in YouTube, be it in TikTok, be it where. So at the end of my talk, I have a very specific goal which I need to attain, and I need us to read this one. If I manage to do that in the next 1 month, I'm very successful. I need to transform you to advocate integration of traditional medicine to modern medicine. The interesting story is what was taken from us is quite interesting. More than 80% of our African population still use traditional medicine. Either they use it together with the conventional medicine, or when they are frustrated to see a response with the conventional medicine, they try to dump the drugs and they go for. Yes or no? Yes. And the interesting fact, most of the medicines you find out there is estimated around 20 to 30% of it is isolated or discovered from plants. And you know, Africa, we are so rich in biodiversity. It's an amazing continent with a lot of what? It's not from here. Oh, okay, you can have this pointer. And yet I know everything I'm talking, even if, okay. So what am I saying? You see, the source of medicines are divided into around 2 or 3. Maybe plants, could be animals, minerals. But the big source of medicine comes from what? From plants. So today is very important to ask, maybe we are exporting raw materials or plants and we are importing expensive medicines. Check on your friend. Tell him, are you listening to this guy? Can we all read this definition together so that we lay the foundation? 1, 2, go. Traditional medicine refers to the knowledge, skills, and practices based on theories, beliefs, and experiences indigenous to different cultures, used in the maintenance of health and prevention, diagnosis, improvement, or treatment of illness. Very interesting. But that does not mean traditional medicine is primitive or unconfirmed. Is that clear? And as I'm talking, quite a huge population of ours is still relying on what? On traditional medicine for quite a number of reasons. When we talk of traditional medicine, it's not about the plants. You know, people go for prayers, yes? To these prophets, I don't know whether you believe on them or not. To Shekis, in Ethiopia, we have quite huge people, the holy water. Is that clear? So we need really to discuss on what is happening. And there is a real reason why people do that. Because in this practice, there is what we call holistic care. When you come to hospital, you'll be treated, oh, now you have high blood pressure, so you'll be given an antihypertensive. You go home. But in traditional, especially in African traditional medicine, it goes all the way beyond treating your sick body. Maybe the sick part is not the body alone. It could be the mind, maybe your spirit, your emotions. So you need what? A holistic care, not only treating the body. That is where now the game comes in. That is why in this slide, if you try to note, there is a real reason why we are talking this in this Black History Month, yes or no? And today I need to challenge you. We go beyond remembrance towards restoration. Can you all shout restoration? Restoration. I can't hear you. Restoration. If you come to my class, students, shout. Can you say it again? Restoration. We need to restore our dignity, our worlds of knowledge, that is the indigenous knowledge. Is that clear? So as I talk on this, and remember, medicine is one of the most colonized thing in medicine among the science. I will try to take you through history. I will try to integrate in my presentation what we are doing and what I'm also doing as a scientist. And finally, we'll bring the recommendation to this talk. And my argument is medicine has never started in Europe, not even in America. The ancient Egyptians, the ancient Nubians, the Ethiopians, go all the way to Mali, the Timbuktu, where they have huge Islamic contribution, where they have written the oldest manuscripts in pharmacology of medicinal plants, are there in all those countries. Come to, for example, when you see these historical things, maybe I'm talking quite ahead of my slides, but when you see historical pauses, one of the limitation of this traditional medicine is it being not documented. Usually the wisdom is transmitted from generation to generation using what? Oral. That is where we lack most. And also it really, yes, integrates spiritual healing into it. And I've talked about the role of the Islamic contribution from Timbuktu all the way, if you come again to Kenya, you see quite a number of medicinal plants are there which have shown a lot of benefits, a lot of clinical benefits in treating some illness. The beauty of African traditional medicine is the definition in cause of illness. And I'll try to bring it that as I compare the different practice. But look here, be it Kenya, if you go all the way to Tanzania, you see similarities in their practice. And they have given names to the traditional healers. And they have been doing that for centuries and still now. Come to all the way to Nigeria and to Ethiopia. So they use spiritual healing, they use medicinal plants, and they use counseling. They also had surgeons like bone setters. How many of you have seen the video from the Kissy surgeon? Anyone who knows the Kissy surgeon? The one who does open brain surgery. Let me just talk from my slides. I think there is some. Yeah. So what are the commonalities? I need us to really appreciate this. So commonalities in all African traditional medicine practice. They do diagnosis. They try to see the cause of illness. Sometimes the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you dress, the way you are communicating. Is that clear? So most of the physical examinations we do in hospitals, our traditional healers also do the same. The mode of their management is also quite amazing because they use different herbal preparations, as I mentioned earlier. They use spiritual therapies. On top of that, there is also massage. You have seen Aisha Speed in Ghana getting the cocoa. What is that? What is that massage? Yes, sure. Anyone from Ghana? I plan. Yes. So I hope you'll show me once I plan to travel to that place. Let's continue. So those are the commonalities. They have diagnostic systems, as you can see, through clinical observations, system or pattern recognition. They do body assessment, and also there is spiritual healing. Let me tell you, what is a sickness or illness? Illness is not all about what? The body, the physical. It also covers the spiritual, the mental, the emotional. Are we together? So that is why African traditional medicine practitioners try to bring in that holistic approach. Can you shout holistic approach? Holistic approach. So this thing is not working. Okay, let me. So what are the common things African traditional practitioners use? We've talked about the herbal medicines. We've talked about the spiritual. What about music and dance? Music and dance is also part of the therapies you could see in most African traditional medicine practices, okay? Not only music and dance, they also have surgical practice. If you try to go to that slide of, maybe I'll invite you later on to go the next slide. Yes, next, because we don't have time. The surgical practice, we have quite a number of bone setters who do very good management when there is bone fracture. Not only that, again, you will see people who do surgery. If you go to the next slide, you will see this traditional healer. Please write this one and you can check on YouTube. He does open brain surgery. He's in Kisi. No anesthesia, nothing. And when the surgery is too long, he'll go for even a lunch break. In the middle, as your brain is open. Is that not a wisdom? You see, now the problem is we Africans, we don't value our old system. We think it is just a witchcraft, which I'll try to come shortly. Go to the next slide. We have also massage, quite heavily practiced. Continue. So the big thing you could see is the heavy use of medicinal plants. Can you all shout medicinal plants? With this amazing biodiversity, the different countries having a drive to plant billions of trees every year, you could see the role of medicinal plants. And we're doing a lot of research to understand the indigenous knowledge in our school. You could see some articles published, which we published with my students, trying to assess the indigenous knowledge. We have gone to Machakos, we've gone to Maasai, Nairobi also, Westland. You can go to the slides. And we have quite a number of medicinal plants with a lot of values. You can go from aloe vera, which has, I believe, how many of you know aloe vera? Can I see hands? You see? Now you can see most of the Chinese companies have come up with hundreds of what? Cosmetic products from aloe vera. And yet we are just sleeping on that big resource. That is why I say Africa has a huge resource, or you can call it a pharmaceutical gold mine. Can you say it? Don't shout. This one is a secret. Africa has what? A pharmaceutical gold mine. We have not utilized it, but it is, I believe, time. We put all the heads together, the intelligence together to work on that one. Kindly, next slides. Yes, this is some of the surveys we did, and most of the preparations you can see, people are using like allium sativum, that is the garlic, the cloves, okay? All those black people, the phytolocadodecandras, that is the amazing work of the Professor Aklilu, who came up with a drug for schistosomiasis, okay? We have moringa. We have a lot of documented findings on the benefit, the medicinal value of moringa. And we can mention hundreds. Let's go to the next slide. You see, now the catch is, during this colonial period, the traditional practice, the traditional medicinal practice was criminalized. How many of you know that in Kenya we have the Witchcraft Act? Let me see hands. 1925, the lawyer for sure. The Witchcraft Act, which criminalized herbal practices, because there is a notion that, you see, these herbal practitioners, they don't treat your body. They also try to approach to treat. And can you imagine, still this is an active law, but people say, I know they are working for it to be amended or revoked. And still some critics also have published a lot on this act, saying that it is a weirdest law because it discouraged documentation, integration, and a number of activities. Let's continue. Let's continue to the next slide. And what happens as we see history after post-colonization, you will try to see post-independence, you will see a bit of improvement in documentation, integration, and especially national recognitions of what? Traditional medicine. And you could find quite a number of publications by WHO, and you could see Africa waking up in after post-independence, and you could see a number of institutions, including KEMRI, including the Nigerian Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development in Ethiopia. You could see many of the research institutions focusing on traditional medicine, on bringing this indigenous knowledge to a product. Let's continue. Then comes this new millennia where you will see a lot of pharmaceutical and pharmacological research. That is now where we are heavily doing. In this presentation, and also to criticize the researchers in African universities, Look, some of my publications in the next slides, where as a scientist you could find me publishing with, this is one of our students, that is Dr. Noor Osman. We try to evaluate to see this plant, if it could be used for management of what? Diarrhea. Very good. Go to the next slide. That's an amazing. This is a new discovery where I discovered an anti-HIV compound from this plant with an elucidated structure, even to give the compound my name, Hermiasoid. Yeah, an African with a proud. I told you I'm a black African. And you could see, this is in a big journal, American Chemical Society, which inhibits HIV-1 protease. If you go to the next slide, you could see further, we went ahead and published another finding, naming hermiasolides. You know, you need to sometimes to mention your names here and there. All scientists were busy on this stuff, but the poor public are not getting what? The product. Still, we are so far from reality. Am I communicating? Because if you ask me, how can you just translate that one to a product, to a drug that goes to the mothers in the village? I'll tell you, maybe 10 years, billions of dollars. You understand? It is quite a lot of research. What are the Chinese doing as we talk now? They are packing, they are looking in such investigations. And if it is in China, they will not really kill themselves maybe in coming up with isolation over isolation. That is a very important part of research. But they will also pack the crude drug in a tablet, in a capsule, in a gel, and they will export it to Africa, saying a natural herbal product. And you buy it because you believe it comes from where? Are you getting the concept? So we have this real problem. We don't trust, we don't believe in our own what? Values. Check your friend. Are you listening? Check on your friend. Are you listening what Hermias is saying? And this is not for pharmacists. Why are you thinking? This is not for pharmacy. Whether you are doing business, accounting, this is a multi-sectoral thing. We need everyone to build. What did the word I gave you? To restore Africans' traditional medicine. That is a huge world. That is $1 billion gold mine, okay? Now, in this new era from 2025, now WHO looks, they are awake. They have come up with a new strategic plan for 10 years. And one of the things they are talking on their new strategic plan is integration of traditional medicine with what? Herbal medicine. This has been achieved successfully in China, in Japan. Ghana, they are doing an amazing work. So when you go to hospital, you have the option to be seen both by herbalists and also the modern medicine. Am I communicating? In this talk, I need you to understand and not to misunderstand also. I'm not saying all the herbal medicines are safe. Is that clear? They need standardization. They need appropriate dosage. Because at overdose, there could be what? Toxicity. Some plants are also toxic, you see. That is why it's very important to have a collaborative research between pharmacologists, between herbalists, physicians, and everyone to make sure that this is a reality. And that is well documented now in this guideline. So countries are nowadays adopting this, and even in Kenya's 2030 vision, you will see that being integrated. There is a lot of an ongoing work. You can push the slides as I'm talking. Thank you. So just go continue. People can see. So as even in the Kenya 2030 vision, there is a lot of emphasis to integrate traditional medicine with modern medicine. As we talk, the ministry has come up with a task force. They are doing a lot of work. That is a good thing. At the same time, as we are so keen in standardization, in ensuring quality, dose is also very important to recognize intellectual property of the indigenous people. You understand? So sometimes I don't know if you call them, what is the other opposite word of black African? Is it white people? So I'm not historian, so maybe if I make a mistake. You see, so sometimes people come to Africa and they could steal those indigenous knowledge. So we need to be very careful. So this knowledge needs to be heavily protected. That is also in a number of laws, and you can see the earlier law of 2016 that tries to protect indigenous knowledge. So with all this, what are we doing as we talk? As a researcher, I'm not only just isolating compounds, I'm still currently working in different dimensions, and you can go to the last 4 slides as I summarize my talk, and I'll check if I'm successful to motivate you, to encourage you, to be advocates. Are you with me? Can you raise your hand? Am I talking to someone? Yes. So one thing, we are supporting herbal medicine practice. So with the opportunities I have with the Pharmacy and Poisons Board and also with the ministry, we're trying to make sure that pharmacognosy or herbal medicine is integrated. So for the first time now, the Ministry of Health is coming up with a good pharmacy practice guideline. And for the first time, they have recognized every hospital, level 5 and 6, they should have a herbal or practitioner, a recognized herbal practitioner. We have convinced them. You see, that is what you do when you are educators, especially for students. That is, I think, a big man. When you get the opportunity, you need to convince policymakers. Is that clear? So as a learned person, that is what I did. In the committee I was chairing, I was given the opportunity to be technical lead. That is what I did. So they are convinced. So soon, we are waiting the CS to gazette to approve that guideline. It's at the last stage. The other thing, as a researcher, what I'm doing is also training the future. So I've come up with a fellowship program that is called AMT CADA, because one modality of drug discovery is using computers. How many of you have computers? Raise your hand. So can you imagine that computer can be also used for drug discovery? Check your friend. Do you know that? You are just staring at me. Check. Yeah, that is the question. How? If you need to know how, talk to me. So that is the fellowship. And once we started, I've got like more than 50 students from all over the world who applied, more than like 22 lecturers from different countries who volunteered to train these people. So we are building Africa's computational expertise so that we don't only do research in the lab, drug discovery can also be done where? On computers. The other thing is also the curriculum. Can you go back? This one, I am so proud to talk to you today. This is not an ambition. When you believe on something, you should put it on ground. That is me. Look, read the first bulletin, all of you. 1 to go. MSc in? Yes, that is one of a flagship program, a curriculum we developed here in USIU under my own leadership. We have convinced our regulators, the board. That is why when I tell you the ministry has approved in level 5 and 6, they have given a job description for someone called clinical pharmacognosy specialists. We need these people. We need our pharmacists to be trained well, to specialize well in the complementary medicine space. It could be herbal medicine, it could be acupuncture, it could be Ayurveda, mention it. Are we together? So that is why we need to make Africa a hub of what? Wellness tourism. Hey, I'm talking. What did I say? We need to make Africa what? A hub. We need to make Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia. All these regions, all our wisdoms can come in together so that we can build a wellness tourism. Look, for example, if you go to Ethiopia, people queue to get holy water in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. They believe in it. They take holy water and they tell you they are cured from 1 to 3 disease. And my challenge is, where is the government? You should be investing a lot in advocating holy water and pack it and sell it to India, China. Are you getting the doc? You see, why are we waiting to get an import of some water? We can say holy water from Ethiopian Orthodox Church and people buy. You understand? If that Kisi guy is still alive and is able to do surgery, you just make sure he works with known surgeons so that, it should be standardized. You understand? Maybe he's using some very good painkillers. People are advocating for hypnotherapy. How many of you have you heard about hypnotherapy? People are, I don't know what they are hypnotized. And then nowadays, people are undergoing surgery without anesthesia. Maybe that guy is using that. But the problem, we have not documented it. That is why where students in the School of Humanities, you can come to understand, to learn the human behavior. What is that behavior? Are you getting my point? What is that thing that is making people to go for prophet so and so and to be treated with HIV? Am I communicating? Are you blaming them that he is wrong or he is wrong? I don't have answer because I'm a middle person. I'm a scientist. I need a data. Am I communicating? But you are there to document that. Those people who study in accounting, in business, you should document what is the cost component, what is the benefit, what is the economic impact of this complementary medicine to our country. You see, countries are investing a lot to get direct foreign investment. You understand? You've seen countries trying to change their cities, what. This is also another thing. What if people fled all the way from US for treatment of stress by a herbalist somewhere in Machakos? So you go and build a good hotel, yes or no? Then they can get some mitishamba, some prayers, some rituals, a combined set. Thank you. May God bless you. I appreciate very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ernest. I do want to thank you for your contribution in science and also
Thank you.
for gracing us with your wisdom.
Thank you.
Before we continue to the next keynote speaker, I do want to say, did you know, and I mean, did you know Wangari Maathai won her Nobel Peace Prize in 2004? Which, by the way, is my whole life. Like, I was born in 2004.